Okay, right, so in playing a lot of Lily, you end up getting drive reversals quite frequently, so I was testing to see which drive reversals from which characters are more oppressive in those matchups. And I actually discovered something that I did not even realize in the first place, so that, let me demonstrate. Like, if I pick DJ, and I do his drive reversal, that's how far we are at the end. If I don't move or anything, we're like completely full screen. But if I pick Cammy, much closer. Instead of out here, we're like right here. So the characters' drive reversals have different amounts of knockback. They have different movements. The best ones for like movement and keeping close are like Cammy's and Blanca's. And anyways, I wanted to demonstrate some of the which characters can actually get Oki off of their drive reversal. So some characters, you know, they can take actions, like any fireball character can do a fireball. Luke can do heavy fireball. Jamie can get a drink, etc. You know, JP can do meaty, but also you have these. So let me put in wake up, crouch, light punch. Some of them are, you know, actual meaties. Like if you do stand medium punch at the right time, it should be a meaty. It should be, you know, if you time it right, it should be within 2 frames of them getting up. Stand fierce is going to be a bit slower, but so it's not as reliable. If you do heavy kick, it'll be active. So as you can see, the active frames start within 2 frames of them recovering, which means that if they press a button, they'll get hit by it, but it's not technically a meaty. There's a significant gap there. He can very easily meaty with stand medium kick, but to no reward. He can go for sweep, depending on your spacing. But the biggest, most obvious thing that he can do is forward heavy punch, which leaves him at +1. And not only that, but when you do it off of a drive rush, you can do the follow-up with... Normally, if you do forward heavy punch, you have this follow-up that is special cancelable. But it's a bit awkward because the gap between both hits is actually not a frame trap at all. There's like a 4 or 5 frame gap. But if you do it off of drive rush, you can actually go into it, which means you can go into follow-up option. So you can either leave it at the +1, or you can do the follow-up attack for a frame trap. So I think it's very clearly built for this situation, because if you do this, auto meaty, you can go into that, you can take the +1 into your 4-framer, and if they wake up crouching light punch, it'll trade with 4-framers, and then he'll be plenty plus enough to convert off of it. Jamie also gets very consistent options off of... He can take a drink, but more importantly, he can drive, rush forward, heavy kick, leaves him at +1, and trades with wake up jab, wake up 4-framer for huge plus frames. Let's see, other than forward heavy kick, which is the main one, you can also meaty with the drive rush sweep. You can meaty with drive rush and heavy kick. About there. Next, Manon gets nothing. Kimberly gets a couple things, not as good as Luke or Jamie. She can immediately run slide, and it'll be -4 on block, so not the most punishable thing in the world. And that will be a meaty. And then she can do, depending on how close she was when she landed this, she can drive rush into the tail end of sweep, which is like okay. can be punished because it keeps sliding forwards. So some characters, a lot of characters will probably be able to punish it with a 6-framer. Not amazing. Not a meaty, but you can get pretty close with stand medium kick. Pretty close, almost to a meaty. Or almost to a frame chat. That would, like, keep... And then a big thing is drive rush slide, and that'll be +2 on block, on back roll, and it will be safe on block, on front roll, and if they press buttons on their wake up, you will get the conversion. Marisa gets nothing, Lily gets nothing, JP can just do projectiles or whatever. Actually, he does get meaty drive rush, his like deep sweep thing like this. So he can do that. Jury gets anything. Jury can get anything she wants. She is by far the best of these. Meaty anything, meaty like basically any button. So as you can see, the active frames, if you time medium punch correctly, the active frames start before a 4-framer would catch, so it would beat a 4-framer, even though there is some gap there. One of the major strengths of the character, honestly, is that you can hit that medium punch and it's so active while you're still sliding forwards. But yeah. Very brain dead. Very, very, very potent. DJ, despite having a really good drive rush, the knockdown that he gets off of it is one of the worst. Because he actually slides backwards and knocks him to full screen, so he gets fuck all nothing. Cammy gets plenty of stuff, because her knockdown leaves them the closest. So she can meaty with most of her buttons. In fact, she can just forward dash and be able to meaty with stand medium kick. So yeah, she doesn't even need to necessarily spend drive. She can also manually time a medium spiral arrow to hit meaty. Won't be plus, but it'll be -1. Ryu gets nothing, Hana gets nothing. Blanca's a really good one, because he slides forwards the entire way through his animation. So he can forward dash and still just like poke with his attacks. He can forward dash and crouch strong. Like so. And he can drive rush into basically any button. You can do a super meaty stand heavy kick if you want, or you can continue to slide forwards with like his other buttons. Yeah, he gets whatever he wants. He has the best one. Guile gets nothing. Ken gets plenty. He can go into a stand fierce, or stand strong, crouch strong, most of his buttons. Chun gets nothing, Geef gets nothing. Dalsum can technically drive rush forwards and hit stand medium punch, but it's like whatever. And Rashid is one of the slightly more complex ones, where he does get some stuff, but it's like... So you can meaty with drive rush stand heavy kick, but it's not rewarding in that capacity. This is not... I've not labbed Rashid that much since he came out, but to my understanding, there's not much he can do with that. He could go for his drive rush sweep, but it'll kind of leave him very, very close at -7 if he does it, if he tries to run for it to stop them from wake up buttons. And the only other thing he can do is forward heavy kick, which in theory is very good. Super brain dead, auto timed, +1, point blank. But it is not the trade that you get off of 4-framers, because it does trade with 4-framers, is not quite there. So you're This one, it actually very much depends on the character and which 4-framer you're running into. When you're plus 14 here, you are plus 14, you could drive rush forwards and like as a frame trap or whatever afterwards, but you can only convert off of it against some characters. Like, let's go to Ryu. So if they do a standing 4-framer button, you should be able to convert with his level 1, but only if they're standing. And again, some characters is 4-framers, like this one, if I trade, I'm plus 16 instead of plus 14. Which does allow you to convert, but you have to spend a bit extra meter. So that is how it lines up. This is super relevant to Lily, because people are drive reversaling her constantly. That is like the main game plan against Lily is drive reversal her freeways in. So the characters that can run Oki off of their drive reversals are much more threatening to such a character.